Inflow is this, it's groundwater, unwanted groundwater entering the sanitary sewer. What happens when it starts raining, that water immediately impacts the sanitary sewer. Flows go up very, very quickly. Those flows typically come from sources like gutters, downspouts, driveway drains, area drains. Also your sump pump discharge. When the sump pump kicks on, it pushes water in there immediately. In sanitary sewers, they really were not designed to handle that excess water. And so that unwanted groundwater entering there, when it rains a lot, it has a really negative impact on the sewers. This can cause basement backups. The flip side of that is infiltration. And that is when the unwanted groundwater weeps or seeps its way into the sanitary sewer system. A lot of times when it's been raining quite a bit, the ground gets saturated, wet. That water will slowly work its way into the sanitary sewer through small cracks in the system, tree roots in the pipe. So that water just slowly weeps its way in there. Sometimes it takes hours, maybe even a few days for that water to show up.
Johnson County Wastewater has around 2,400 miles of gravity sewer main, and you may be thinking that's a lot of distance, and you'd be correct. But another interesting fact is, on the private side, the service lines that are owned by each property or business actually add up to be over double the amount of 2,400 miles. So that's how your individual property has an effect, not only to our collection system, but how JoCo Inflow is going to help target some of those private facilities to help make our system better as a whole. Johnson County Wastewater started the I&I program back in the mid-1980s. Since 1986, Johnson County Wastewater has inspected over 55,000 separate properties and have removed around 17,000 illicit sources from the system.
The program is 100% voluntary. We really need public participation for this program to be a success. Your participation in reducing the flows in the system will greatly reduce the needs and the overall cost of these large capital projects. The program is funded by Johnson County Wastewater's capital budget. There's no out-of-pocket expense to the property owner. JCW is going to be looking at targeted areas that have had wet weather issues in the past. So we'll go through, we'll schedule a building inspection or site visit with the property owner. A JCW or representative will come out to the property, take about 20-30 minutes of your time. We'll walk around your basement, review your basement or crawl space, take photos, notes. We're going to look for sources, like I said, like foundation drains, driveway drains, area drains, exterior walk-up stairwells, and also directly connected sump pumps. JCW has a list of local plumbing contractors who've worked with JCW and are approved to work on the program. A list of those will be provided for you at the time if a source is found on your property. If you prefer to use your own plumber, JCW has the ability to work with most plumbers. So if you have a reputable plumber that you feel comfortable with using, JCW can work with that plumber to typically work with that plumber to get the work completed. When the work is complete, JCW or a representative will schedule a time to come out and take a look at that work, verify that it was done properly, and also verify that what JCW is paying for is actually the work that was completed. Participation in the program will greatly reduce the wet weather flows in the sewer system. Future things include we don't have to worry about upsizing pipes in the neighborhood to handle those wet weather flows. You don't have to worry about upsizing of pump stations or the treatment plants just to handle that, essentially what is rainwater. Participation will greatly reduce costs for everyone within JCW's service area. If it hasn't happened to your house, maybe some of your neighbors during these heavy rain events may have experienced a basement backup. By reducing these sources of groundwater, it should take the water out of the system and hopefully either reduce or eliminate those chances of basement backups during these heavy rain events. When you sell your house, when they do a home inspection, many times the home inspector may find this illicit source of groundwater to the sanitary sewer. They will mark that. And typically that source would be paid for by the seller or new homeowner. With JCW's JoCo Inflow program, we would go ahead and pay to remove that source.
It's really a win-win because they pay for it and you can basically get a free sump pump. So everyone should do it. It'll help the foundation, help with the backups in the basement.
JCW and other municipalities who've participated in these private I&I programs have found that removing these sources is much more cost effective at reducing those flows than doing those big public projects of upsizing pipes, upsizing sewers, manholes, pump stations. It's just a cheaper cost overall and much less disruptive to the entire neighborhood, to the entire system.